I truly believe that 95% of all youth baseball coaches are doing what they do for the right reasons, and they have the greatest of intentions. And there's only a few bad apples sprinkled in that really shouldn't be coaching. With that being said, we all know that perfect coaches aren't real, and real coaches aren't perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. I think the deciding factor on the difference between a successful coach and an unsuccessful coach is the size of the mistakes that are made. How far do the ripples go for each mistake? In today's Bullpen Bulletin, I'm discussing my top 5 big fundamental mistakes that I've seen youth coaches make and that I've made myself. And if you can avoid these 5 mistakes, success will be there. The only question is, how successful you'll be. Hey team, it's Coach Art with Building Better Baseball, the best place for baseball education. If this is your first video, I created this channel specifically for youth baseball players and coaches to help them improve their game. I come out with weekly videos to help you in all areas of baseball. So if that sounds like you, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my videos. And before we get started, I have a couple free guides that are down in the description, so feel free to check them out. But for now, let's make sure that we avoid these top 5 big fundamental mistakes. The first big mistake is putting winning first. Winning and youth sports. This topic has been debated on for as long as I can remember. And even though the majority of the content that I read and watch says that winning isn't everything, I still see coaches out there who are solely focused on the scores of their games and the trophies that they win. In my eyes, that's the biggest mistake of them all. When a coach only cares about winning, they're saying to their players, I only care about my ego and my reputation and not your development. Winning is obviously part of the game, and it's always great to win, but if that's all a coach is focused on, that's like trying to build a house by starting with the roof first. The only thing it can do is fall. Player development and baseball education should take center stage for all youth players. It's exactly like school. You have to learn first before you can perform and win on a test, right? In youth baseball, focus on player development in practices and scrimmages, rather than trying to go to as many tournaments as you can and play in as many games as you can. Now, yes, gameplay is a necessary part of player development, but it's only a small piece of the puzzle. The thing that the winning is everything coaches don't realize is that when you start with the foundation and you put your focus in the development and the education of youth players, winning will happen. That winning roof can now stand on that house because the foundation was built strong through every season. And that produces a culture of winning games because of amazing player development and baseball education. The second big mistake is a lack of transparency. As a youth baseball coach, there's nothing more important than having full transparency with both players and parents. It's essential to have full disclosure and to be an open book about your plans for the team and how you see each player contributing to the team. The purpose of being a youth baseball coach is to introduce this great game to young players, develop their skills, and prepare them for the next level. If there's a player who you know is not a great fit for your team, be transparent about it. Don't keep them on your team just so they can ride the bench all season and not have a chance to get better. Be honest with them and let them go find a team that's a right fit. You want to give every player the best chance to have success in baseball. And if it's not with you, then don't hide it. Lastly, be transparent about how you're going to use the players on your team. Make sure every player and parent is on the same page with how they're going to be used. If they don't agree, then they can go find another team. But you'll be saving yourself a ton of mid-season headaches because a parent or a player thought it would be one way, and they're quickly seeing that it's another way. The third big mistake is not positioning players where they can succeed. Have you ever seen a player playing a position that just doesn't seem right? You think to yourself, why is that player playing center field? Aren't they a catcher? This is all too common in youth baseball, where players are put in positions that don't highlight their skill set and are basically setting them up to fail. All youth coaches should know their players' specific skills that they're good at and the skills that they're not so good at. Always put your players in a position to succeed. Set them up for success. This game is already full of failure and hard enough to find success. You want to make sure that you're giving each player the best chance to find success. If you have a player who can catch the ball really well, but they're not that fast, don't put them in the outfield because they wouldn't be able to get the ball to show off their skill of catching the ball. A better idea would be to put them at first base where they don't have to move that much and the whole entire position is centered around their skill of catching the ball. It's our job as coaches to recognize a player's skill set and put them in situations that will highlight those set of skills. The fourth big mistake is a lack of organization and planning ahead. You can always see the difference between an organized coach who plans ahead and thinks long term and a coach who's unorganized and plans day by day. If you want to have a great youth baseball team and create a culture of success, start thinking in terms of seasons and not in games and practices. A great coach has their entire season planned out with the goals they want to achieve written down, and then they plan backwards from that with each game and practice. They have a practice plan blueprint with a practice routine where they can just fill in the different practice items for each week. They know what they're going to work on every week before the week starts. You can't have a goal of long-term success with short-term planning. They just don't go together. If you're a coach who plans each practice the night before or the day of, and you create your game lineup and positioning the night before each game, think about how that's working for you. And trust me, I'm all about doing what works for you, so if that's working, then keep it up. But this used to be me when I first started coaching, and I can tell you that I got mediocre results from mediocre planning. Once I changed my mindset and planned ahead and got organized, everything changed for the better. The fifth big mistake is not continuing their learning. Let me ask you a question. If you had a goal to get in shape and you were looking to hire a personal trainer, would you hire someone who tells you, yeah, I have 20 years experience in personal training, but I haven't worked out in 6 years, and if it's okay with you, I still use the outdated equipment from 10 years ago? You would probably walk right out of the meeting, right? That's exactly how players and parents feel when they talk to a coach who isn't a student of the game and doesn't keep up on their own learning. Coaches have to learn first and then teach, and that cycle of learning and teaching is never ending. That is the essence of coaching. All great coaches are students of the game. They're always trying to improve their own coaching skills. They're going to clinics, they're watching videos, reading blogs, trying to get up to date on the latest trends in coaching. Their goal is to bring the best material they can to their players so they can experience the best results possible. And the only way to do that is to continue learning themselves. This game is one of the best teachers I've ever experienced, and there's always something new to learn. I'm going to end this video on a favorite quote of mine. The less you know, the more you think you know. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Let me know what you think about this video. Do you see any of these mistakes being made in opposing coaches that you go against? Or maybe even some in your own coaching? Be sure to leave a comment down in the comment section. And before we go, I have a couple free guides down in the description that I'd like to give you as my gift to you for stopping by. The first one is a free baseball equipment sizing guide, and if you're looking to size a new bat or a glove or anything else, this is a perfect guide for you. Plus, it lists all the equipment that we use in baseball. And the second one is a free 2-hour practice plan for coaches with 2 practice blueprints if you're looking for some help in your practice plans. Make sure you grab yours before you go. I know your time is valuable, so thank you so much for spending some of it with me today. I hope this video helped you recognize some common coaching mistakes that you can avoid in your own coaching journey so you can give your players the absolute best youth baseball experience. I'll see you next week for another edition of the Bullpen Bulletin.